that'll do it for the first main topic. Let's get into the second main topic, which is just going to be the U.S. women's national team and Brazil match preview. And it was a perfect segue talking about Brazil, getting into the second main topic. So, bam, awesome transition, guys. We did it. This is my most anticipated match of the tournament. This was the one match I was deeply, deeply looking forward to. If Canada didn't have so many players that were injured, I would have told you that the Canada US match was my most anticipated one. But with all the injuries and Brazil being as talented as they are, I would say that this is my most anticipated match of the tournament. I think it will be the toughest test that the US has to face in the tournament. I mean, I will say that the U.S. has faced tougher tests throughout the year, especially against the Netherlands, and they passed those with flying colors. So who knows? We'll see how this goes, considering that they kind of dipped in form in this last game. Because, like I said, Brazil's a powerhouse, and they should be a strong opponent to the U.S. And I think Brazil is going to kind of smell that blood in the water a little bit, as it were, and kind of pounce on that. So I think Vlatko will have to prepare a little bit more tactically. I think Brazil's going to come out in this game aggressive, attack, 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 which is what Brazil's philosophy normally is anyway. And what makes this game really interesting, for those of you who don't know, the former United States Women's National Team coach dating all the way back to 2012 is Pia Sundhage. She left the U.S. and then Jill Ellis took over years ago. This was before even Vlatko's time. And now she currently coaches for Brazil. So this is the first time she will be facing her former team as the coach of another international club. So this should be really interesting and exciting to watch. I was watching the Canada Argentina, or not the Canada Argentina game, the Brazil Argentina game, and it was really interesting to see her in Brazil attire. It was like, what? But yeah, so that should be a little interesting footnote for that particular game. It'll be interesting to see how Vlatko Andonovski adjusts. Let's get into something really interesting. What is going to be my starting 11 prediction for this particular match? Well, I don't think it's going to change much, but let's go into it. Starting in goal, we'll have the Honorable Alyssa Nair of the Chicago Red Stars. On the left back position, we will have the Honorable Crystal Dunn of Portland Thorns. Playing alongside Crystal Dunn is going to be, oh, Captain, my Captain, Captain America herself, Becky Sauerbrunn of the Portland Thorns. Playing alongside Becky Sauerbrunn in that center back duo is going to be Abby Dahlkemper of Manchester City, who I think is the most underappreciated player on the U.S. Women's National Team. Love Abby Dahlkemper, love everything that she can do for the squad. In the right back position, I've got Emily Sonnett starting out this game rather than Midge Purce. If what we were thinking earlier with Kelly O'Hara picking up the knock, and if Kelly isn't fit enough to play in this game, I will say Emily Sonnett will get the start. If Kelly is fit enough, O'Hara's going to get the start. We'll see. Moving on up to the midfield, we've got in the holding midfield spot, Julie Ertz of Chicago Red Stars. Playing alongside Julie on the left central midfield position is going to be Lindsay Horan of the Portland Thorns. Then on the right center midfield position, I've got Rose Lavelle making the start for this match rather than Katarina Macario in this particular case. Then moving on up to the forward line, in the left wing, I've got Kristen Press making the start up there. I've got Alex Morgan starting out in the striking position, and then I've got Lynn Williams starting on the right wing. Who are my subs going to be? I think Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, Katarina Macario, Christy Mewis, Casey Kruger, and Tierna Davidson will all be subbed on at some point or another. The biggest changes between the last game and this game in my predictions were that Kristen Press and Alex Morgan starting up top. I think it's kind of vital for them to start getting some really important minutes in those particular spots, especially leading up to the Olympics. I think Megan and Carly have played a ton in the last 3 or 4 games, and Kristen Press and Alex Morgan haven't had that same opportunity. And I think they're some of the more talented players in this roster. I would say Alex Morgan's a better striker than Carly Lloyd. I wouldn't say Kristen Press is a better winger than Megan Rapinoe yet, but she's getting close. So that's maybe a hot take, and maybe I should post that on a TikTok video. I'm going to write that down in my notes actually right now. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the starting 11 prediction. Guys, who is going to be in your starting 11 for Brazil and the U.S.? Feel free to jump down in the comments below and let me know who you think is going to get the starts. What is going to be my scoreline prediction for this particular game? I've got U.S. passing this test and winning this game by a scoreline of 2-1. I think the U.S. is still the stronger of the teams, despite how their last match went. Even if the U.S. had another poor day against Brazil tomorrow, I think they will still come away victorious. Because like I said, the best of teams in the world play and win even though they're not at their best. And the U.S. is the best team, women's soccer team in the world, bar none, in my opinion. Having said that, Brazil's going to put up a really strong fight, I think, for this game. They're very attack-minded. Marta and Dabinia is a very strong dynamic duo in their midfield, and they provide a lot of attacking prowess in that particular aspect. So they're going to put up a fight, and they're going to smell that butt in the water with the U.S.'s small dip in form. So something to keep her eye on. Who do I think is going to score the 2 goals for the U.S.? I think Alex Morgan is going to get her first goal of 2021 in this game. I will say she'll get it right before halftime in the 44th minute. Off a cross from, we'll go with Crystal Dunn in this case. And then I think Kristen Press is going to score the second goal for the U.S. in this game. She's going to score from outside the penalty area to mimic her magical goal that she scored in the 2020 SheBelieves Cup against England. However, we will have the unfortunate luck of not hearing Sebastian Salazar say, Kristen Press, what have you done in getting us all hyped? I miss Sebastian Salazar commenting these games. He's so much fun. Him and Julie Foudy make a great pair. So unfortunately, she's going to score. It's going to be a worldie, but Sebastian won't be there to commentate it. We salute you, Sebastian Salazar, by the way. Big fan. All right, and then at some point in the match between Kristen Press's goal and Alex Morgan's goal, I think Barta's going to come up with a Brazil equalizer. Marta is notorious for coming up big for Brazil, especially against the U.S. For those of you, take a flashback with me to the 2012 London Olympics when she did so against the U.S. I believe she took the lead in that particular case, so it was a crazy moment. Please do yourself a favor and watch the highlights of the U.S. women's national team Brazil London Olympics match. I believe it was in the quarterfinals. You won't be disappointed. It's going to be amazing. But last prediction of the match, the U.S. is going to strike first in this particular match and give Brazil a run for their money. So, guys, those are my thoughts, predictions, and match preview of the United States women's national team and Brazil match taking place tomorrow. Who do you think will emerge victorious? How do you think the game's going to go? Will Pia beat her former club? Will Vlatko earn his first loss, his first draw? Whatever you think, feel free to jump down in the comments below and let me know what you think. Guys, one last thing before we wrap up this podcast. I'm just going to say I think Canada's going to beat Argentina by a scoreline of 3-1. That's my score prediction for that. So, guys, with the second main topic down and out of the way, that will do it for this podcast episode. As always, it's an awesome honor and privilege to host you on this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, feel free to share this with your friends, subscribe, like, whatever you feel like doing. If you don't feel like doing any of that, I'm just glad you're here. That's fine, too. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I hope you get to enjoy the games tomorrow going down in the SheBelieves Cup. Until the next podcast episode, I've been Bryce. This has been the Women's Soccer / Football Podcast. And as always, have a great day.